ZoxSo, the new ancient game, published by Mindspan Labs, game designed by David Weinstock. This is the first tutorial series for learning how to play ZoxSo and learning tactics and strategy for ZoxSo, the new ancient game. That are in the game. There's really only 3 different types of pieces, and they look, this is the whole group of 10 pieces, 10 light, and on the other side, each piece has another personality. Now, these are the 3 types of pieces right here. Basically, these guys right here. And you'll notice that there are 3 completely different symbols. But the symbol side of the pieces can only move and function and capture on the pearls of the board, while the other personality of the pieces, the opposite side, the back, can only move and function and capture on these stones. Now I'm going to cover movement on the pearls first. So on the pearls, even though there's 3 different symbols on the front of each piece, no matter which piece is showing, they all move exactly the same, one at a time, through these passageways from pearl to pearl, and that's for purposes of movement or capturing. Any piece in ZoxSo can capture any other piece, whether it's on the pearls or the stones, according to its movement pattern. And on the pearls, the movement pattern for all the pieces, regardless of whether they're different or not, is always the same. They move, like I said, kind of like these checkers or pawns, one at a time, for movement or capture. And they also cannot move through this wall. This wall forms a barrier all the way around the area that surrounds the golden throne, from the inside area of pearls, the inside area of pearls, to the outside area of pearls. No activity by these symbol pieces or the Zox side of the piece is permitted from pearls outside the wall to pearls inside the wall, or vice versa. Nothing that a symbol could do on one of the pearls can take place across the wall. That's prohibited. Now, in addition to being able to move like little pawns for purposes of movement or capturing, and by the way, when a piece is captured in ZoxSo, it comes out of the game permanently. It will never return to the game. So, in addition to being able to move like little pawns, these symbols, or the Zox side of the pieces, have a special ability. Any 2 or more pieces of the same color, light or dark, that are next to each other, adjacent to each other on the pearls in any configuration, as long as they're touching each other through these passageways, like so, 2 or more of them form what's called a chain. And any member of the chain, it could be 2 pieces, it could be 10 pieces, any member of the chain can move or capture onto any adjacent pearl of any other member of the chain. And so in this situation, because this guy right here could move here, or could capture here, like so, so could this guy who is connected to him. And this holds true for any number of these symbols, or Zox side of the pieces, as long as your configuration of symbols are touching each other and you can draw a line to connect the dots. They all form one group or chain, and any member of this chain can do anything that any other member of the chain could do in its stead. For example, here, any one of these pieces could move to capture through the body of its brothers this guy who's adjacent to the rest of the group. Notice that this applies only to same color pieces, so this lone guy cannot use the chain of the opposing color for activity. He can only use his own. So now that's the way the Zox pieces move in ZoxSo. Now I'll cover how the pieces move on the stones. These 3 guys that move exactly alike when they're on the pearls move totally differently when they're up on the stones. And I'll show you that now. This mandala shape or symbol, which is the zing, there's only one of them for the light pieces and one of them for the dark set. This symbol is always a dragon crown on the other side, and each side has one. Like I said earlier, the goal of the game is to get your Zing to the golden throne. If you do that, you win the game instantly, or you capture the opposing Zing in either state, either on a pearl or on a stone. And if you do that, the game is over instantly as well. So this guy, when he's up on the stones, has the ability to move one stone north, south, east, or west, orthogonally, one space in any direction, one stone in any direction for purposes of movement or capturing. In this situation, he could move there, or he could move here, or he could capture this guy, but of course the best move here is to just move on to the throne, which is a winning move. He wins instantly. So that's the way the Zing moves when he's on the stones. The dagger, or Dao, which is always represented by this symbol on the other side, when he's up on the stones, he moves and behaves and has all the properties and characteristics of a rook in the game of chess. He moves on the stones only, horizontally or vertically, as many spaces as he wants in a straight line, starting his turn on a stone and ending his turn on a stone if he's simply moving in that dimension on the stones, or until he captures something or is blocked by one of his own pieces. So in this situation, he could move anywhere along this row of stones, or he could move this direction until he's blocked by his own guy, because you cannot go through anything when you're a dagger, or he could move to capture this dagger over here, and then he would have to stop and the dagger would come out of the game. Now, that's the way the Dao, or dagger, moves on the stones. This guy, who is called the Ma, or the horse, he's a three-headed horse. He's always represented by this weird little galloping leg symbol on the other side. And the way he moves when he's on the stones, okay, is just exactly like a knight in the game of chess. He moves in a little L shape in any direction that is basically 2 stones wide by 3 stones long, and he moves from one corner to the other, or it's 3 stones wide by 2 stones long. So this is the shape, like that, and this is for purposes of movement or capturing. And he cannot be blocked by anything. Just like a knight in the game of chess, he has the ability to move through his own pieces or others. For example, if you had a position like this, and this horse wanted to capture this dagger because it's in a little L shape, he can do that, even though these other guys are in the way, because the horses, the Ma, are not blocked by anything, just like they're not blocked by anything in the game of chess. The only time they are blocked is they cannot move onto a space that is occupied by one of their own. They can, of course, move to a space that's occupied by an opposing piece by simply capturing it, and it comes out of the game. Now you might ask, well, there's these 2 dimensions. How does a player get from one dimension to the other? It's very simple. On a player's turn, any piece in either dimension, either on the stones or on the pearls, has the ability to flip into the other dimension and make a move if it wants to. So on your turn, you can just, for example, let's say we had a position like this, okay? Let's say we had a position like this. All right, let's take a look at that position here. There's pieces in both dimensions. Well, let's put the opposing Zing on the board just in case here. All right, so you'll notice that this piece right here, if he wants to move, he could move here. Or if this guy were here, he could move here to take him. Or he could just make a move here. Or he could take a chain move, you know, because he can move to an adjacent pearl of any other piece in the grouping, in the chain. Or, in this situation, he could also flip onto this, one of the empty adjacent stones. It cannot be an occupied stone, but he can flip onto an empty adjacent stone and then capture an opposing piece or just make a move. In this situation here, let's say this were right here, this Dao or dagger, he has the the ability to, let's say a situation like this, he could either capture this horse if he wanted to, just by moving here and taking it out of the game, or he could flip onto an empty adjacent pearl, and let's put another guy down here on one of these pearls. He could flip down here and then make a move if he wants to. He doesn't have to. He could flip there and then sit there. Or he could flip there and make a move in the other dimension. Or in this situation, he could flip outside the wall and make a move in the other dimension too. So that's the movement, and that's basically ZoxSo. Like I said, the goal of the game is to get one of the two zings. Each player is trying to get their zing to the golden throne. That would be game over. Zing to the golden throne, game over. Or capture the opposing zing in either state, on a stone or on a pearl. If you do that, it's game over instantly. Now the game starts with nothing on the board, and both players alternate placing their symbols. Just these are called the Zox side of the piece. This is the reason the game is called ZoxSo. It's like a yin-yang. The symbol side is the Zox side. The picture or colored image side is the So side, or the soul of the piece. So the Zox is the grunt or pawn or soldier. The picture is the soul. So it's ZoxSo. Okay? ZoxSo. So you take, the players alternate, starting with the player of the dark pieces. They place any one of their symbols or Zox on any pearl outside the wall, anywhere around the board. And that's to begin the game. So first dark places one, then light places one, then dark places one, wherever you want on any pearl outside the wall and with the little icon or symbol image face up. Once all of the pieces are on the board and not before, the player of the dark pieces starts moving, and then white takes a move and then dark, just like in a game like chess or Go or Shogi or Xiangqi. Players alternate moves until one of the zings gets to the golden throne or one of the zings is captured. The games are very fast. They tend to last anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes on average without a clock, and that's pretty much ZoxSo. So that's tutorial number 1, ZoxSo, the new ancient game by Mindspan Labs. I'm David Weinstock, the designer of the game, and thank you very much for being with us.